What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back again with another video for you guys. And today we'll be looking at the Joe Lewis indictment, which happened a couple of days ago. It's taken a lot of us Spurs fans by surprise with the news that happened late on, what day was it? Was it Monday evening?
It's 2 days ago, so it happened. Where are we now? Thursday?
Yeah,
Tuesday.
so Tuesday evening. The US attorney has indicted Joe Lewis with charges of insider trading. To help us peel through the details and understand what is going on, we have David Hellier from Bloomberg, who's been reporting on the story out in the US. David, thank you for joining us today.
That's a pleasure. I'm actually in London. My colleague, my colleague in the US, she broke the story on overnight. So yeah, she's been quite on top of it, but I'm obviously covering the things from this end as well.
Okay, well, thank you for that. David, for us football fans who are maybe not so well versed in insider trading laws and the US kind of law surrounding this aspect, can you, in layman's terms, maybe explain to the viewers what exactly is going on with Joe Lewis?
Yeah, sure. I mean, so he's been accused of abusing his access to information which has a profound impact on the share prices of certain companies. And what he's been accused of is passing on this inside information to friends and staff and pilots and even his girlfriend, so that they can benefit by buying shares in these companies that are sort of the subject to takeovers, whose shares are going to rise dramatically, and they can get in, and buy the shares and then sell them later on at a massive profit. I mean, it's a very detailed indictment, very high profile. And of course, it has to be mentioned that his lawyer denies the whole thing. So the government's making an egregious error in judgment by charging Mr. Lewis.
In terms of how these charges will affect Tottenham as a football club, how do you envisage that panning out, seeing as Joe Lewis has, in October 2022, stepped down as being a significant person of ownership at the club? Do you see this impacting Tottenham in any way?
Yeah, I mean, I do see it impacting Tottenham in the longer term. I mean, obviously, it's very convenient that he transferred his shares in October to family members. So it's true that he's no longer the legal owner of Tottenham. But in another sense, he is still the man at the heart of Tottenham, at least financially speaking. As well as Daniel Levy, of course. And Daniel Levy, who's a big shareholder in the holding company ENIC, does conduct a lot of the business affairs himself. But I suppose the way it might affect Tottenham is that you've now got this backer who, in other circumstances, might be able to raise money for the team to purchase players, as ENIC did this last year. They raised 150 million, to help with Antonio Conte at the time, for him to buy players. And now you've got a potential backer who's otherwise engaged in fighting a massively serious insider dealing case. So at the very least, it takes his eye off Tottenham. I think it's hard to say that there's another backer of his kind. It's not like he's passed the shares to another tycoon who's willing to come up and put finance into Tottenham.
So David, I have a question for you. The question I want to ask is, obviously, everyone's speaking about Lewis, Levy, the board, and how it could affect us as a football club via that way. What about commercially, and for example, the NFL, who obviously are a massive organisation. How are they going to see this and other respective companies?
Yeah, it's good, very good question. I mean, it's not a good look, obviously. Although it's possible that they will take the view that Tottenham want people to accept that it's, you know, Tottenham's totally unconnected to Joe Lewis. It's possible. I mean, legally speaking, that is true. But you know, it depends. This case could go on for some time. It could get really detailed and ugly. They just might not want to be associated with it. It's just not. It's not. You know, it's not a good look, whichever way you look at it. What I think it will do, and this is where a lot of Tottenham supporters might have some hope. I think it might accelerate the case for some sort of takeover. I mean, you know, there's always been a strong case in the last few months for a takeover of Tottenham. Premier League clubs are very much in demand. Tottenham Stadium, as we know, is one of the best in Europe. You know, the Qataris are keen on taking a minority stake. We've heard of other potential bidders lining up for Tottenham, and in the past, it's all been batted back. We are told by you know, by in particular Daniel Levy. This might make him, you know, him look a little bit more towards finding a partner other than Lewis.
That's very interesting. You're here. So you think potentially this kind of news could soften the stance of the ownership at the moment, potentially to facilitate a takeover bid. You think that really does increase the opportunities, considering, as you've said, you've heard of other potential people looking at the Tottenham as a potential opportunity. So this news could really soften that stance, you think? Because right now Spurs have been demanding at least, they say, 5 to 6 billion for a takeover, and you think that could affect the price potentially?
Yeah, I mean, we've reported sort of fair value estimates of about around 3 billion. I think that would seem to be in line. I mean, even that is kind of considerably above the amount that Chelsea fetched last year. They got 2.5 billion, as you know. I mean, obviously, there's a big asset in the stadium. The refigured stadium is very attractive to buyers, and the fact that the stadium can be used for a number of events, not just football. I mean, I know that the Qataris remain interested at the right price in taking a minority stake, maybe a 10% stake or something. I mean, it's if Tottenham were to require some investment for the playing side or for multi-club, I mean, the big thing at the moment that everybody's doing is buying up clubs around Europe. Chelsea recently bought Strasbourg. There's lots and lots of these deals being done. So Tottenham probably do require some investment, some fresh money, and there's no shortage of institutions or investors that want to get into the Premier League.
Well, David, thank you very much for your time today. Thank you for the call and giving up your time and your insight into the current goings on with the Joe Lewis case, and appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Yeah, cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye. I mean, very interesting stuff. Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts on everything that's been discussed today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.